Hello everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Vishaka from viTesters. In the process of sharing our knowledge with the community, we are conducting a series of webinars. And last time we have discussed about how to reduce the maintenance cost in test automation. Then we have discussed many things regarding what are the actions we should take, what are the best practices we should adhere in the last discussion. So if you have any chance, you can visit our website and the entire webinar is available. So today's topic is about strategic planning in software quality assurance, and to receive more insights to that topic, we invited another industry expert, and she is Ayesha Jayawardena. Welcome, Ayesha. Thanks for accepting our invitation to conduct this session. And let me introduce her. She is a chapter leader at ASB Bank in New Zealand. She has over 17 years of experience in software quality assurance. And apart from that, I'd like to introduce her as an all-rounder because when she was in Sri Lanka, while working on her main QA field, she worked as a visiting lecturer at the University of Moratuwa for postgraduate students. Therefore, the insights that she is going to bring into this topic will be really helpful for many in the industry. So it is a great pleasure to have this session with you, Ayesha. And I believe this session will be helpful for many in the industry, including project managers, leaders in the organization, apart from our software testing professionals. Because if the particular organization works on software development and software quality assurance, the top level management of that organization also should have a better understanding of identifying the benefits of going with the better software quality assurance standards, because finally the final benefits will be brought to their products and services, right? So that's why I believe this session will be helpful for many, and please take this opportunity and feel free to ask questions at the end. Yes, we are good to go, Aisha. Thanks. Sorry, Aisha, we can't hear you. Can't hear you, Aisha.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah,
No.
I was saying thanks, Vishaka, for the invite. Um, Thanks for the quick overview as well, but I kind of prepared a small area to give my background. I'll quickly go that part. So how would I describe myself? So I'm into the industry for decades now, but I was enjoying like being part of the teams and also leading and driving them to the successful productive outcomes. Apart from the professional area, I normally like networking, playing basketball and adjacent things. And I'm a dog lover and I'm into exercise. That's around my hobbies. Um, a bit about my other background around education and work experience. So I have done my bachelor's in IT, Curtin University, and then another IT degree from SLIIT. Then I did my master's in University of Morocco as the top performer. And then I started my career with Virtusa as a QA engineer. And I was working there over 8+ years, and then I got the opportunity to do visiting lecturing, as Vishaka mentioned, around couple of universities in Sri Lanka, NIBM, Colombo University. Then when I moved to New Zealand, I started with Datacom. That's again another service providing company, and I work with multiple clients with that. Then I moved to product-based companies, ANZ Bank, and I'm currently working with ASB Bank. Yeah, so let's start with the topic, which is strategic planning in QA. So that was my previous background that I wanted to share before. So everyone, Nakam Kia ora. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Again, thanks for inviting me for this webinar. I hope my background and insights will help you to get some topics and ideas and how you can build the QA strategic plans within your organizations. So I would like to touch base these contents. Let's talk about what's the strategic plan within the QA and how we're going to set up a quality assurance center of excellence and what's the objectives and benefits of that. Then we can talk about Flex model. That's going to be the model that the center of excellence going to work. That will lead to the 4 pillars of innovation. That's essential pillars to how to run a COE. We'll talk about transformation journey at the end. Yeah, let's start with the strategic planning for QA. So every organization will have long-term and short-term objectives, which will be cascading into the next level. So it could be accounts, platform, or to projects. So these service providing companies will have long-term objectives like billion-dollar journey. And then what are the outsourcing and transformational industry solution? So my topic is more towards the service providing companies, how they can leverage these aspects and how they can achieve these long-term objectives. So when we talk about the next levels, it will come down account or project level. So these accounts or project levels, they will look at how we can get revenue through the existing accounts or the existing clients. So one thing is outsourcing, as I said. So when we talk about more in outsourcing, mostly companies outsource in application development, software testing, and then application support and maintenance, infrastructure, or tech ops. So today's topic is around how we outsource around these software quality and how we work when these are outsourced to service providing companies. So the next one is transformational industry solutions. So when I say industries, mostly IT service providers work, key trending industries like banking, insurance, healthcare, telco, media, entertainment type of industries. So there are other emerging industries coming time to time, but we will look at these projects when as we get them. But these industries are mostly common industries, and we need to think how are we coming up with solutions, and that should be competitive enough to compete with other companies. And that should be a transformational journey type of ones. The next level is the practices. So we can call it either practice or chapters. So every practice and chapter needs to have their own type of strategies. So development chapter practice will have their own ones, maybe BAs have their own ones. Likewise, QA will needs to think what is our testing strategies to achieve these objectives. So let's look at under the QA around the COE, that's one of the strategy, and how to have a core flex model, and then how we can have innovation as a culture and millennial adoption. And also the last one is another important thing, how we do scaling through efficiency. So as a service provider, to expand our businesses, we need to scale, and that is through efficiencies. We'll talk about markets and products in a minute. Before I go there, I would like to check one thing. Are we doing periodic review and evaluation and in refinements? Another thing people miss to do this, then we will have consequences at the latter stage. We need to evaluate how we are performing. So, is it really effective? Are we doing the right thing? Is it on track? Maybe the way we plan, it's not giving up the expected output. So, different people can use different techniques. Some might do PDCA. If you have heard it, it is plan, do, check, act. So, this is another way to reevaluate our successes are correct and right. Um, Let's go to the markets analysis. So mostly we use this market product grid. This is a well-known one. I hope you have seen it before, but I'll quickly touch base a couple of areas. Um, Market penetration. So it talks about existing products and existing markets. So this is like the lowest risk to a company. So because we are not touching, bringing any products or not touching any new markets, we want to ensure that our current products with current market, we are performing well. So we need to research on the and competitor analysis to see how competitive our prices are. So we can lower the prices, but we need to ensure that lowering price does not lead to a price war or a loss of profit. So there should be a standard that where we need to maintain, and also we need to make sure that our processes and services are available. The last thing is about awareness and branding. We need to ensure our recognition is steady and increasing. So it could be done by advertising, maybe even emailing to our customers or prospects, new branding, or maybe partnering with relevant businesses. So that market penetration we can sustain and also increase with the revenues if we tie out with the proper strategies. The next one we'll talk about market development. So this is around new audiences. It could be geographical level, like national level or international level, or maybe completely new customer segment. So we need to think around how our expansion strategies are with the current products. So we can do market research for which markets to achieve or which order. We need to think on these ones, do a proper market research and plan it out. So as I said, if it's a new customer segment, we need to think new advertising channels, new branding strategies, how we are translating this to their local languages, maybe partnership to seize a particular audience. So these things are important if we are thinking of market development. Next one, product development. It is about upsell opportunity type of thing. So the industry is always evolving, changing, demands are coming. So we might need to come up with new products time to time. So that's why it is with existing market, but we need to think of how we bring new products to the market. We can do R&D and come up with new product or even expand our existing product range. The lastly, it is about acquiring a company that add a new product to our product range, maybe. So that is through strategic partnership type of work. The last one in this four areas is diversification. So it is about how we bring new products to new markets. So you can think of right related or unrelated. So if it's a related, it's still slightly related to existing product. So if I take an example, mobile manufacturing company, they might come up with various mobile versions every year. But if their products are not compatible with, let's say, car car related accessories, and that might not integrated well or maybe not supported. So they might need to think how along with our main product, how we can maybe have compatibility car accessories. So it's like a new product they are bringing, but related to their current products. So if it's unrelated diversification, then it's completely new product that they are bringing into the market. So it's kind of we develop enter go to market strategy. So within these ones, we mostly focus around the first two, which is market penetration and product development. Those are the mainly common things that service providing companies are focusing. But that doesn't mean they can look market development and diversification, but primarily they focus on these areas. Let's go to the Quality Assurance Center of Excellence. So, in a QACoE COE management, most of the time, the standard testing activities will be there. So I'm not going into detail as such, but I have given a couple of examples here. So if we talk about test data management, we need solutions within the center of excellence. So we might get requests that need customized um, test data creation, or we might need some programs or tools for test data generation dynamically or repeatable requests. So we need to identify these patterns and create um, tooling or opportunities within the center of excellence. The next is functional testing. So there are different type of testing we do, mainly manual testing with these types, and we can introduce pairwise testing as well. So system testing, regression, sometimes we have to do compatibility testing, and then database or do testing in the progressive iterations. That's going to be like a core area in every testing process. Then, as you all know, automated testing, we do the standard around test designing, planning, and come up with architectures. We need to do feasibility study to analyze what type of frameworks we need, what's the tooling, programming languages that are needed. So we need to do all these planning and prerequisite activities, then automate the test scripts and execution results and reports and maintenance as usual. And when we go to non-functional testing side, mainly people get the focus around performance testing. Under performance testing, we do benchmarking the industry and all preparation for the performance testing, then to prepare test data and preparing test data. It could be with these data management approaches, and then do results analyze and recommendation. So non-functional is not limited to performance testing, could cover any other non-functional testing activities. So these are the most common stuff. Let's talk about
Excuse me, Aisha. We can't hear you clearly.
oh,
Still, we can't hear you, Aisha. You can hear me, right? Mm.
now?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I hope it's clear and I didn't have to repeat the latter part. So I was referring to the QA/COE management. So this is the key in the QA/COE. So I was talking about these other things as a traditional. We need to have these other testing types and approaches in place. When it comes to QA/COE, the management is key in here. So we will have the test process optimizations, effect management and triaging, all these defined within the QACO, and then enforce the quality gates within it. Quality gates will be defining like how we should be testing, what are the guide rails that we should follow, and enforce these quality gates throughout the testing life cycle. And also preparing test reports to showcase evidencing and coverage, what type of we have done, is it ready to go to production, all these type of things. And key important thing is the last two in the center of excellence is the metrics and SLA driven governance. So SLAs will showcase that we are meeting the set standards, and also metrics will show us how we are performing as Center of Excellence. And the last one is around testing dashboards. So these testing dashboards are helping us to monitor the performance of our systems. The could be production or non-production. The dashboards will show us the coverages that we are covering, monitoring, as I said, around the applications. Next, let's go to the um, objectives of the Center of Excellence. So this is going to help us how to run a Center of Excellence. So the first one is talking about independence testing, which is unbiased testing. So as you all know, test chapter or testers, we should be having unbiased testing. So we normally don't ask developers to test their own code. So with that note, we want to have run a COE as the same way. The last one, all the test strategies are driven from the center of excellence so that we have a consistency within the strategies and we have common benchmark across all the work we do. So that coordination and benchmarking and driving all the strategies through the center of excellence. Third one is we are going to retain our skilled, experienced resources, also do cross-training them across projects. So with this, cost reduction can be maintained because we are sharing our resource pool. And then we do demand management. So one of the thing is we want to ensure that we meet the demand for the projects. So we want to have dedicated professional testers augmented in the domain expertise and also have the right balance, the optimal mix of technical testing and the functional testing so that the demand can be met. Lastly, we need to have building the competencies. So competency building is around technical or non-technical or domain knowledge so that skills can be developed and used as per the needs we are getting. So the objective of Center of Excellence is to maintain this to be effective as we were planning. Let's talk about the benefits of a Center of Excellence. Um, so the first thing is we have level of demands coming from all these projects. So we need to maintain that head count. So we are going to maintain the head count with flexibility and agility way so that we can cater all the demands. So another benefit is like we going to have a wide range of skills and technologies because we going to have the use right tools and we will be on top of the industry standards and tooling, then we won't be outdated. So we are always on top of it and we are competitive with our competitors. So we can still deliver faster to the market. And the center of excellence, we are centralizing all our tooling. So we are not doing POCs again and again. So one project to another for the same tool, we are not going to do POCs again and again. So we reduce that redundancy so that we can have this total cost of ownership improved in this way. And as I said, we're going to have this centralized involvement for the entire SDLC. So with that, we were going to have saving with the defect density reductions and maintenance cost reductions. As I said in the beginning, we are setting the quality gates as guide rails for the QA. So it improved the productivity and reduced the time to market. So that's with the automation tools and improving operations that we are bringing in. Another thing with the high quality, obviously customer satisfaction will increase and happy customers will bring more products, more extended work for the companies. Another thing is we are having uh, ways of working with the customers environment. So we're going to integrate seamlessly with the customers so that we have process oriented capabilities. So we are not taking risk or cutting corners. We are process oriented as per the customer's agreement. So we're going to have this smooth integration to the customer environments. Lastly, we will have a differentiation compared to our other customers and other competitors in the market. So we bring innovative approaches and technology leverage. So with that benefits, let's look at Flex model. So in the middle, you can see the center of excellence, and that center of excellence in the core team area, it will have the center of excellence manager, QA leads, and the QA engineers. And this is core of competent domain knowledge expertise core team. We have bottom a flex team. So that flex team is getting trained by the core team, internal domain sharing mechanisms that are in place. So the core flex team is always bridging the gap that needed for the center of excellence. So if you see in the top there, application one, it could be phase one, and another application two could be in phase two. So there could be parallel running releases, or it could be sequences releases. So whatever the way the projects or the application phases are running, core team will be the core that is providing core testing activities, but as per the demands, flex team will be supporting it. And if the phases are completed and if they don't need that much resources, these resources will be releasing back to the center of excellence. So the same way, key positions will be again filled if there are new demands. Another thing is, this is for the center of excellence. And if we have a growing flex team, and if we think it is too much for a center of excellence, we have the opportunity to release these resources back to the internal resource pool as well, which is a company resource pool. Same way, if we need a more demand from the internal resource pool, we can bring people to the flex team as well. So that is how the core flex model going to run. Let's look at the innovation pillars. We know for a center of excellence, we need some transformational journey, and the 4 innovation pillars going to help us how to transform into a center of excellence. So the first thing is the partnership pillar. So we need to ensure when we engage with our customers, we might have different team practice pricing models. So some of the clients might have on-site offshore structure. So we need to think that core flex model, maybe a couple of people from the core team will be sitting with the on-site and some with the on-site team and then the flex team. So we need to think around what is the best pricing models that's going to help us, and what's the team structure if we have this type of on-site offshore setup. This is about the capability pillar. So we need to think shift left approach. So this is not something new, but everyone is hearing shift left approaches. With the center of excellence, we are thinking defect prevention in the early life cycle. So how we are giving the shift left approaches by the capabilities. So let's look at that. So we talk about that domain expertise, how we going to retain. So within this QACoE, customer project engagements, we have this domain expertise in the core team. And they are training the flex team to bridge any domain gaps. And also, if we need any technical skills to be developed, we will be doing upskilling with the training programs. So training programs could be different type of trainings. It could be in-house training or maybe internal training within the company or even external trainings if needed. So we can look at what trainings requirements are and then upskill our testers. So they have the technology, technical skills, and then right skills to test the activities. Then robust test approaches to early testing in the SDLC. So we need to think around rather than waiting for the full product and that become a waterfall level approach. So in an agile way of working approach, we need to think how we test early as in the life cycle, probably use the APIs, tubbing or mock data, or if possible, integrate to the systems. So this will bring different capabilities to the mix of the team structure, and we start shift left approaches. Third one is the value pillar. Here is around the effectiveness. So we are thinking now we are going to shift left and do early testing, but is it effective enough? So that's where we have high impact testing with the value pillar. So let's look at what is this value pillar is around. So it's around the core team domain knowledge, retention and sharing. So with this model, within the IT industry, people need uh, change. Maybe the change could be a new technology, learning something new, or they don't want to continue the same routine over and over for years. So we want them to get different opportunities. So rather than they leaving the company, we can give opportunities with the CoFlex model. They rotate within the COE, maybe different releases or engagement. So we retain this domain knowledge expertise within the center of excellence. And also we share them so that it's a win-win situation because we get to retain them as well as they get the dynamics, learning something new, new technologies and tooling. Again, if there are strict timelines to the projects and if they still want to maintain the proper quality and do with the core flex model, we can bring other type of strategies like risk-based testing, also have CI/CD pipelines for continuous testing, so that we may ensure like new changes that we are implementing, it's continuously tested and validate with the regression type of testing or sanity tests that we are running through pipelines. Lastly, we've been hearing that development operation needs to work together, which is DevOps. But now the change is we include security into the mixture. That's called DevSecOps. So we are not waiting at the latter stage to introduce security in testing practice. We always start the security in the testing life cycle from the beginning. So do a lot of prevention action. We don't have to wait until last minute to do a penetration testing and identify we need to change in our design.
Sorry, Aisha, again, we can't hear you. Hello?
Okay, now,
Yes,
hello.
I think, yeah,
Okay, now.
I think it's okay now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's the technical issue here. Sorry for that. So
No worries.
sorry, I was referring how we introduce security into the development and operation. So that's called DevSecOps. So with that, we are introducing security early stage in our development processes. So with that, we are not losing security aspects. We are not waiting until last minute to do security testing and find out big loopholes in design and do rework, which is a big rework for the project and loss of time and the cost. So that's where we include as much as security testing. It could be even code level testing, which we can do with the CI/CD pipelines as well. So that's bring up effectiveness to our testing life cycle. Last part is innovation pillar. So innovation pillar is focusing about the efficiency of the testing. So we've been talking shift lefting, effective testing, but we need to do it efficiently as well. So that's where the innovation pillar comes into picture. So we need to ensure that we are using the correct tools for automation. So that's just an example. So if we are not using the correct approaches, correct frameworks, the consequences will come at the latter part of the projects. So we need to ensure during the planning stage, we select the proper tools, even for performance testing, have these tools used in a corrective, effective manner. Another one is I touched base test data management at the previous slide. So we need to ensure test data have proper approach. Most of the companies test data is a big concern. So either those test data is not maintained or maybe those are tampered by a lot of people and it become not reusable or maybe not able to use it at all. So these things we need to think around dynamic test data creation. So in that way, every time we test, we have dynamic test data creation, and then our tests are not stop or block. We don't have to wait for maybe another round of test data creation to test our scenarios. So we have dynamically provisioning test data, and maybe clean up approaches at the end to ensure that we are not building volume of test data for years and years. Another thing is, we all know AI is an emerging trend now. We can use AI into the testing practices. I'm not sure how many have exposed to AI, but a lot of people start using AI into day-to-day activities as well. So there are GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT, a lot of AI tools in the market that we can use, but we need to ensure that we are using it properly. And then we need to ensure the output of the AI is correct as well. But we can involve AI to do efficient testing. So we can use AI to generate test cases, automate tests, to ensure the test coverage is enough, and then maybe generate test reports. So the things that we might be doing for years with traditional ways of working that took us around weeks and weeks or months, now it could be done in hours. So that's think out of the box how to use these AI tools to efficiently test. We need to factor into a COE. Lastly, as I was touch base, real-time dashboards for reporting and monitoring. This is going to bring us real-time inputs from our production or non-production environments. So they depend on how we need, we can set up these dashboards. So that will going to help us to monitor our production environments. Is the volumes are taken care? Is our system going to be highly available for our customers? Is the CPU memory servers are all good? In that case, we are not going to face a incident in the future. So we can take preventive actions if we have this monitoring. Most of the time, we have only production monitoring for the incident management like production support, but I would recommend have this monitoring in non-production environment so that we will not get integration testing block. For an example, let's say if we have upstream or downstream system that is unavailable, that is indicated through our dashboarding, then we know there's a planned outage or unplanned outage has happened, which is going to impact our testing life cycle. So that's going to impact our entire deadlines of the projects. So all these monitoring going to help us run as a center of excellence. Next is the transformation journey. So we've been talking about the center of excellence objective, what's benefits, core flex model, so a lot of strategies, but we need to ensure how are we going to transform into it. So we talk about COE model. So it is about multi-skilled team and comprehensive test coverage. How are we going to bring that? And again, multi-supplier experiences we will have, mainly if we are working with variations of tools. It could be vendor-based or maybe open source tools. Whatever the tools we use, we might ended up dealing with multiple suppliers. So that multiple supply experience will be there for the center of excellence as well. Another thing is we are early engaging from the QA perspective in this DLC. So we think continuous improvement throughout the life cycle of the projects. And having a dedicated QA team and this flex resource model going to help us changing our resources as per the demands. Another thing we need to think how we look at these projects from a holistic view with a QA focus. So we are not waiting until just the execution phase after developers are done, do the testing. So it's going to be from the beginning of the project itself, we are engaged and put even maybe test-driven development or whatever the approaches that we like to involve in the QA focus. Another thing, we will have agile workforce as per the right sizes we need, and we will be flexible enough to change as per the demands. And also we should have a vision of the tools that we need to bring in for both automation and performance for the right context and right products. So that's the QACoE model. So for that model, we were talking about innovation. So how are we bringing innovation to culture? So we need to think that QA focus with engineering, efficiency, and innovation perspective. Again, is with tooling, as I said, how we generate our test design, pairwise testing or something, or AI tooling. So these going to help us for bringing the innovation and as well as real-time dashboards. This is to identify any performance bottlenecks early as well. One key important thing here is a social platform. So we need to ensure the center of excellence have a social platform for the testers to engage and collaborate. So this platform will bring them to share their knowledge, maybe lessons learned, the challenges they face, how they overcome it. So another team doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. So we reduce the reduction. So this platform will bring the benefit for Center of Excellence to run as per the benefits I was sharing. So that platform will bring us more collaboration, more engagement with the teams. The third one is millennial adoption. We need to see that our people are upskilling as per the latest trending tools. So that is like employee satisfaction also we are looking after. Most people like the as per the industry trends. So they are updated, they use the latest tools with the security aspect is covered within the services that we provide to our customers. So we need to think like, what are the millennial trends that are going to help us, and we are up to date, and our employees are happy within this codes. Then we need to think what are the current industry trends, what are the next generation trends, and focus bringing these things into our mixture of the technologies. Mainly cloud, big data, machine learning, AI, those are newest trends. So time to time, we have to do market research and find out around what are these next gen trends and involve them in our working environment. Another one is around how we commoditize our testing. So how we can become more differentiated when we compare with our other competitors. So we are bringing this adoption to showcase that we have the latest tools, we have the latest skilled resources, we have the latest trending technologies that we can provide to the customers. And again, as I said, we are social. We have these approaches to socialize the quality within our culture. Lastly, the scaling part, which is efficiencies. So we need to be more transparent through monitoring, through dashboards with the customers, so they will see how we are performing. It's not subjective, it's with the statistics and the facts. So the data speaks a lot. That's why that socializing is important with the customer as well. Then shift left approaches I discussed already. So that's going to scale through early involvement in the testing life cycles. Lastly, we're going to use AI tools to do faster delivery. So that's how the Center of Excellence transformation can be bring up, how to operate that strategies in the QA chapter or test chapter or test practice. That's the end of the presentation. I would like to see whether anyone have any questions. Or maybe use the chat if you want to any questions, or maybe include in
Yes, you can ask questions if you have any. So one question I would like to raise, Aisha. So companies like ours work on different projects in different domains, such as retail, fintech, finance, telecom, and healthcare. So we have to go with different testing strategies. The test strategies that we have used for a finance domain cannot be applied to a retail domain, no healthcare domain. For an example, if we consider about a finance project, it will go with the compliance-based test coverage. Then how should we encrypt the customer and transactions data? Then the audit logs, audit trails will be more considered for these transactions. Plus, how user segregations happen during the different functions will be considered. If we consider about the e-commerce project, then we will focus more on compatibility testing, accessibility testing, then the UI UX verifications, payment integrations, and so on. And for certain clients like healthcare domain, because of the many standards that they have to comply with, we have to change our test artifacts. So to address all these concerns, how should we use this QACoE model? Do we have to use multiple QACoEs? So what is the best way to get the advantage of that model? Sorry, Aisha, again we can't hear you.
Hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So that's a good question. So if you think my previous slide, I'll probably go back. The starting place, I explained like how company objectives are cascading, right? So this center of excellence is coming at an account or a project level. So if we take a project, we might not have two, three industries touch at the same time. Mostly it could be a healthcare one or a banking or something. So most of the time that account or project will have a center of excellence, and that account could have five, six projects, but it will be mostly one domain area. So that's where I was referring that center of excellence help with the one. It's not for the entire company. This entire company might have one or two projects within our account or a project. We need to think like if we have different structures in companies, some structures might have BFS segment which run five, six projects, and then five, six accounts or something. So depend on that company structure, we can have maybe one center of excellence for one particular platform. So in that case, banking and financial platform can have one center of excellence. So the domain expertise of that banking financial finance sector can retain within that platform, but they will have five, six, or 10, whatever the scale of that company have projects. So depend on the structure, we can change and adapt to it. But the COE concept is for that particular domain area or particular industry that we are leading.
Okay. And so now, as you know, we can get the AI support for our SQA tasks. We can generate the AI-powered test cases, test scripts. But there are some reluctance from the client sides of using the AI. So, are there any best practices or standards from the QA COE level that we can show that usage of AI doesn't impact to uh, their confidentiality of the information or likewise. So basically, how can we convince them that using QACoE model, AI involvement is not a risky thing for their data and information?
Yes, yeah, that's a very good question again, Vishaka. So mainly, every company have a lot of security constraints or confidentiality about the data. We need to ensure the approaches that we take, we might not be this data that we use should be kind of data that we generate for testing purposes, not the production data. We need to have a lot of guide rails and quality gates to ensure that we don't use test data. So one side of is the test data management. So if we talk about the controls that we can implement around test data is masking strategies, investigation strategies that we implement or create our mock data as per the business scenarios that we want to test, but we are not using production data. So we need to ensure what's the controls that we implement as a company to safeguard the production data or the customer data. Their PIIs or whatever the customer identification should not be there. So that's from the test data. And then the tooling, when it comes to AI tooling, we need to ensure that we don't publish or have that awareness. We don't just copy paste anything like public AIs, which are open to anyone. We can have the tools. There are inbuilt, some companies have inbuilt AI tools. Some are having like Microsoft Copilot. If you use, it's from a preferred vendor, I would say, so that they themselves have set up a lot of controls in place. So we don't have to look outside of the security that the vendor providing. Vendors are taken care of the security aspects of it. So we need to have these different aspects. That's why I was saying in the QACoE, what are the tools we use? We need to be very careful and selective, because otherwise we will face consequences at the latter stage, right? So we need to look after what is the tooling requirements we need, security aspects. That's why I was saying security is not something we look at the end. So that's part of DevSecOps model. I was saying security needs to think around, so that QACU management is responsible, tooling, planning, and having these guide rails and controls, and also the marketing side of important for how we guarantee to our customers that we are doing the right things in the right way. We need to ensure that we sell these other maybe in-house development AI tools, and it is not integrated to maybe public cloud, and we are not using these production data. So all these guide rails are important in the CUA management.
Okay, thanks, Aisha. And if a particular organization would like to implement certain maturity models like CMMI or TMMI, will this QACE model be helpful for them?
Uh, yes, I wouldn't say it's not a direct impact thing, because CMMI or standards defining how we should be operating. So if I think about banking sector, there are APRA standards as well. So APRA decide how a bank should operate, and these controls are made. So these controls are just to ensure that we follow the proper process again. So that's again aligned to COE. When I get my previous answer, I was talking about the controls. The controls define, are we using the production data, or are we using proper data protection mechanism? So those are the things even these standards are also looking at as a company. Are we providing them? So I think it's around, again, building that awareness. What's the standards, guide rails that are expected from the company to follow? And are we aligned these levels? And then look at the innovation and other things that we can bring. So I don't think it's um, either blocking us to go for a COE. It's just alignment and understanding is what needed.
Yes, of course. Um, that's the all questions I have. How about the others? Do you have any questions to ask?
Yeah, I have one thing, Aisha. So, since you talk about the AI tools, I think there are a couple of tools available for the testing. Is there any like AI tools that we have already known, like it's like good to use for the QA? Do you have any examples of that? Because we haven't used any AI tools, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
just want to know, is there any like suitable main widely used tools available for the QA automation, or maybe like even for the test case writing?
Sorry, Asha, we can't hear you.
Better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Ramit. It's a good question. So as you all know, AI is emerging. It's still sometime early stages. Some are mature. So I would say Microsoft Copilot is a good mature tool. People are using it. So that have the leverage of you can chat to Microsoft Copilot, ask questions, get your automation, maybe the code reviewed. and ask any improvements. So that can tell you how to improve your code, automation code, or generate the test cases. If you give proper requirements, if you have Jira or your whatever the test management tool you use, you can use that and ask the questions properly, generate the test cases for this ticket scope. So it needs to have manual intervention still to make sure that Copilot output is still valid. But is with more optimization, you can get the right output. These tools are really important, and there are company provided AI tools, but that is again, if you kind of partner with them, these partner companies will give you as a service. So they have performance testing AI tools, automation AI tools, and also just the manual testing AI tools. That is, these tools are coming from that, but I would recommend, like, if you want like a standard tool, even GitHub Copilot is a very good tool for the AI.
Okay, thank
Thanks, Ravi.
No questions? Or you can put the chat as well if need.
Yes, you can
Want
use
to
the chat
announce?
if you have any questions.
Seems like there are no questions.
Yes, seems like that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and thanks Vishaka for the opportunity to come and share this with you all.
Yes, actually, Aisha, you introduced co-ideas, many great ideas and perspectives to the discussion. Thanks for bringing up these ideas and share them with us. And yes, so if you don't have any questions, we can wrap up the session. And I think this session was a useful one for you. And I think some of the questions we have addressed very well. So see you all in next session, and we would like to come up with another useful session, another useful topic for you. And if you have any suggestions for the topic, you can comment and you can tell us. So yes, thank you so much for joining, and I really appreciate your time and interest. See you all in next webinar. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.